Welcome to Barcelona Geek. This is time of video recording comparison between the Oppo Find N6 and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Let's go. Let me know which microphone sounds the best and which HDR is working better. As I can see here on the iPhone and on the Oppo, the HDR is looking a little bit better on the iPhone. The iPhone is superior in terms of detail and HDR, and it records at 60 fps compared to 30 fps on the Oppo. But as a foldable, we can always switch to the rear lenses. Switching to the main camera, both capture video at 4K 60, and the Oppo here is a little bit brighter and it's raising up the shadows a little bit. Again, we see that the Oppo is brighter in this video, but at the expense of blowing out the highlights here in this building and also in the fish. In this video shot in the afternoon, we see how the Oppo starts to struggle a little bit. We see higher detail, less noise in the iPhone, but also a little bit of flickering because of the shutter speed matching the lights. And in this other video, the iPhone produces much warmer tones than the Oppo. They were definitely not there. And the Oppo feels much more natural here. That said, the level of detail on the iPhone remains far superior. If you look closely at the trees, the textures are much more defined. And the Oppo video is definitely more blurry, as you can see here checking on the people. In this other video of the bus, we can see also the same trend. The Oppo is a little bit brighter, but the colors are very similar, just personal preference. I don't see that much of a difference here. In this car shot, the Oppo has more true-to-life colors, the iPhone is blowing out the highlights while the Oppo is underexposing the car. Switching to the ultra-wide, the iPhone clearly wins here. We get significantly better HDR and also a wider field of view. And the iPhone is maintaining this high level of detail despite having a wider field of view. Remember, the Oppo sensor is covering a narrower angle, and the iPhone therefore is spreading its resolution into a much wider area. Switching to the Telephoto, 4 times on the iPhone versus 3 times on the Oppo, both delivered solid results, though the HDR on the iPhone is a little bit better. In this street scene with people passing by, we see how the cameras perform very similar, though we have a bigger depth of field on the iPhone. In this other shot, we can see how the Oppo is blowing out the highlights a little bit and the iPhone has a little bit better detail. Here I'm testing the maximum zoom range. We can see how the iPhone is a little bit overexposed, but of course we can get closer with the iPhone and get a little bit more detail. And in this other shot of the Sagrada Familia, we can see a very similar video, which is quite impressive for a foldable. Here in this other video on the sea, I'm checking again the stability and the zoom range, and it's impressive that the Oppo can be that much stable while being in a foldable, even better than the iPhone, I would say. I think both are doing a great job here in this shot of the W Hotel, or Hotel Vela, how we call it, the people from Barcelona. This is the maximum depth of field that you can apply to the portrait video on both of the phones. It's f1.4 on the Oppo and f2.0 on the iPhone. I think the skin tones are more realistic on the Oppo, although I'm a little bit bright, but I think it's more realistic. The iPhone has this some kind of yellow tone. Here I'm comparing cinematic mode between both phones, and we can see how the edge detection is working better on the iPhone, but the colors are better on the Oppo. Here I'm testing how smooth is switching between lenses. I think the Oppo is doing a great job. Android phones have struggled with this for years, so it's good to see something like this. And in this macro video, I prefer the colors on the Oppo. This is Oppo's Ultra Steady versus Action mode in the iPhone. The iPhone has more detail despite having less resolution, and the video is more stable. And switching now to the slow motion, we can see how the Oppo forces the ultra-wide lens while the iPhone sticks to the main sensor, and neither of them allow you to switch. And the iPhone can record audio for slow motion videos. Both phones are able to do dual video. And as you can see, there is not that much difference between them, and keep in mind that both of them lock the frame rate to 30 fps. For the nighttime selfie, the iPhone not only is recording at 4K 60 compared to 4K 30 in the Oppo, but also captures more light and detail. But you can always turn around the Oppo and record yourself with the wide-angle camera or the ultra-wide at 4K 60, but if I had to choose, I would choose this video from the Oppo. I believe it's the most balanced. In this interior, the iPhone's colors are far more accurate. The Oppo shifted the car's red to an orange that wasn't even there, and for this shot the iPhone takes the win. In these food shots, neither of them got the colors right. The reality would be a mix between them. Comparing the HDR performance at dusk, the iPhone handles the neon sign much better, keeping the highlights under control where the Oppo starts to lose them a little bit. In this video of Barcelona's cathedral, we can see how the Oppo colors are much more true to life. The iPhone somehow added some kind of a yellow tint that was not even here, so if I had to choose, I would choose the video taken with the Oppo Find N6. but the iPhone 17 Pro Max bigger sensor and better processing from Apple produce better detail, as you can see here in this video from Barcelona's Gothic Quarter. And in this other shot we can see how the iPhone grabs more light. We can even see the face of these street performers, while the Oppo looks very dark compared to the iPhone. So the trend is clear. While color may vary, the iPhone captures more light, which is normal for a traditional smartphone. The Oppo of course can do wonders with photos, as we saw in the previous video, because it has time to process the image, allowing a smaller sensor to punch above its weight. But in real-time video, the iPhone's processing power and sensor are still the king. And in this night shot of the Arc de Triomphe, you can see how the HDR in the iPhone is superior, and look at the trees. The Oppo is quite noisy, while the iPhone is clean and detailed. But one good thing about the Oppo is that you don't have those lens flares that have been in the iPhone for several generations. Moving to the ultra-wide at night, we can see a similar trend than with the wide-angle camera. Of course, the iPhone has a wider field of view, and the Oppo can appear to have better detail, but of course it's because it has a narrower field of view. But in this specific shot of the Arc de Triomphe, we can see how the iPhone has much higher noise. It pushed the exposure and thus the ISO so high that the image quality took a hit. Moving to the telephoto at night, we can see how the iPhone has better HDR, but both are impressive for a late evening shot, especially considering that the Oppo, remember, it's a foldable. But for some reason in this video the iPhone is making up colors and introducing artifacts and noise. And the same thing happens here. The iPhone sensor hits its limit at 4K 60 FPS at night, and the Oppo is visibly cleaner and sharper. And in this video, the iPhone is brighter and perhaps slightly more color accurate, but the Oppo produces a cleaner and much more usable image. So it was a surprise to see Oppo's telephoto working better than the iPhone, having better detail at night. This was really completely unexpected. My conclusions are that the Oppo is a very capable phone, probably the best foldable regarding the camera, and it's not maybe longer a reason if you are into photography. Foldables are now in a position where they will deliver solid videography and photography results. Will we see foldables that are equal in terms of camera to smartphones in the near future? Could be, but of course they should be thicker than this. You can see the difference, right? This is so thin, it's not even 5mm, while this is 8mm, so of course there should be some differences. But as I said, those differences are minimal, they are not going to be important for some people, and some people are going to make the jump and go to foldable. Trade-offs are decreasing every year. Like the battery on this phone is so good compared to what we had years ago with the first Folds, right? So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe and like. On the next video I'm going to do a full review of the Oppo Find N6. It has been great these days that I've been using it, so it's kind of a spoiler, but we will dig deep into all of the features that this phone can provide, and I will give you my honest opinion always. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.